Good evening, everyone. We'll now go ahead and call our Planning Commission meeting to order. And before we get started, I would like to remind each and every one of us to put our cell phones on silence. As well as I'd like to take this opportunity and go over the guidelines for the public comments, the City of Aiken Planning Commission meeting. Meetings are public forums in which many opinions are expressed and the business of the city must be conducted. As such discipline, honorable and professional decorum is paramount. Courtesy and respectful communication is required. During the public comment periods of meeting, all question statements from the public should be directed to the chairman. If you wish to speak, raise your hand and the chairman will recognize you. Please approach the podium, state your name and address. In order to allow an opportunity for everyone who wishes to address the commission, speakers should limit their comments to the agenda items of applications being discussed. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to address an issue and may only address an issue once unless questions from the commissioners are posed to the speaker. Our first item on the agenda for tonight is the approval of the work session and the regular minutes for August the 12th.
Move to accept as written, Mr. Chairman.
If been moved and second that the minutes be accepted, we'll now call it for a vote. All in favor? Raise your hand. And I abstain.
Mr. Chairman, I abstain as well.
2 abstain. There are no old business on the agenda for tonight. We'll move on into our new business. The first business is application number 26-20003, request for annexation on Abbeville Avenue, tax parcel number 104-16-37-008. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this request? Anyone here that opposes? Back to the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, for application 26-20003, annexation request for tax parcel 104-16-37-008, I move that we send this to City Council for approval.
Do we get a second? It's been recommended by Commissioner Erb and second by Commissioner Clayton. I mean, not Clayton, but Clark. Sorry about that. But anyway, all in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. The second item, item B, another annexation request. Applicant Woodside Plantation, tax parcel number 107-0604-009 and 107-06-04-0110. Current zoning urban development, proposed limited business. Are there anyone here? I'm sorry. Okay. Anyone here to speak in favor of this applicant? Anyone here opposes? Any comments? Back to the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to application 26-20004, annexation request for tax parcels 107-06-04-009 and 107-06-04-010, current zoning UD, proposed zoning LB. I make a motion that we move to City Council for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that application number B be sent to City Council for approval. All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand. We have a unanimous vote. We'll move right on to the next application. Yes. All right. Application number 26-20005, annexation request. Applicant, Mr. Tucker, current zoning RC, proposed zoning RS10. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this applicant? Anyone here to oppose? Back to the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to application 26-20005, annexation request for tax partial 106-11-07-002, current zoning RSC, proposed zoning RS10. I make a motion that we move to City Council for approval.
It's been second. Are we ready for the vote?
Chairman, as we briefly discussed at the work session, I thought in light of the fact that this is 0.47 acres, about 20,000 something square feet, it may be more appropriate to put it in the RS15 zone versus the RS10 zone. There is RS15 directly to the rear of the property. That's a fairly large lot in concert with the two other lots that are next to it as well. It's this existing single-family home. I don't think it's going to be demolished, but I think it would be more appropriate for RS15. Not wait to it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend my motion to RS15.
All right. You withdraw your second.
Yes.
Oh, you withdraw your second.
Oh, sorry.
You withdraw it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so then we'll make another motion now.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, in regards to application 26-20005, annexation request, tax partial 106-11-07-002, current zoning RC, proposed zoning RS15, I make a motion that we move to City Council for approval.
That's it.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that application C be sent to City Council for approval with the changes from RS10 to RS15. Ready for the vote? All in favor? Did we get a unanimous vote?
I'm sorry, yes.
All right. Moving to application D. Application number 26-20006, annexation request. Current zoning, office residential, proposed zoning, limited business LB. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this applicant? Anyone here opposes? Any comments? All right, back to the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, for application 26-20006, annexation request for tax partial 106-12-11-106, 016, excuse me. I want to say we recommend it to council for approval. Maybe I'll get a second and then we'll discuss a little with that, if I may.
I'll second that.
This person has put in, isn't this the one with the request that she is not,
To withdraw.
she wanted to withdraw. By law, we can't do that. Council can. We can recommend to council. And then, so our recommendation for her, Miss Kimberly Choya Sixbury, come to council and put that request into council. So, I just wanted to put that on record, so.
Yes. So other commissioners, we understand what,
But we can't do that. We can't deny it.
yeah, she had a letter in here that
We
she wanted
can't
to
deny it,
withdraw.
but council can.
Right,
Correct.
and we can just recommend to
We're
council.
passing it the way staff put it to us. if I had put it to us.
I did send it to us, correct.
I'm just trying to. Okay, you can call for the question.
I would call for the question. All in favor? Unanimous. Who's second? All right, let's- Clayton. Clayton, okay, CLA. Application E, application number 26-600001. Current zoning, general business, proposed zoning, RML. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this applicant?
Good afternoon, Chairman and Board. It's an awfully quiet meeting, so I decided to add some excitement to it.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
I'm Ahmad McHale, S.M. McHale, and I am asking that we rezone the tax parcel from GB, which is general business, to RML. Reasoning being characteristic of the district, as always, you go to the street, you look to the left, you look to the right, look forward, look behind, all is residential, pretty much. And I always question why all that district was general business anyway. But my proposition is to put a nice duplex there. I'd like to call it dignified housing. The affordable housing term can be tossed around, but I call it dignified housing to add to our stockpile for the housing units in Aiken, South Carolina. Any questions, I'd be happy to answer them from the chairman, from the board, anybody from the public.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. McHale. Is there anyone here that oppose this applicant? Any questions? Back to the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to application 26-60001, rezone request tax partial 104-16-29-011, current zoning GB, proposed zoning RML. I make a motion that we move to City Council for approval.
It's been moved and second that we send application E to the city council for approval. We ready for the question? All in favor? Unanimous vote. Our next applicant is Crown Land Development Company, owner Matheson Family Trust, location Edgefair Highway, current zoning, urban development, proposed zoning, planned resident. Are there anyone here to speak in favor of this applicant?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kurt Hanna. I live at 134 Marion Street Northeast, and I am on the development team, represent the developer. And so we have submitted our plans, gotten comments back from staff. Many thanks to your planning staff, by the way. They are phenomenal, great communicators. I think they really are an asset to us. I know Myra is not here, but thank you for that. We've responded to all the staff comments. We feel like we have addressed all the staff comments. Some of the things like creating an amenity area in the north section and also in the south section. And in a minute, I'd like to give an opportunity to ask some questions if you'd like, but one of the big things that we're requesting is a reduction in the 20-foot separation between homes. I understand that that's probably, going to stay on there, and that we're going to need to move forward. Understand that you guys can't really waive that, but I did provide some information on my thoughts behind that. I'll be glad to answer any questions as it relates to that. And really any questions as it relates to the project. I know that there will be some neighbors that come up and speak in a moment. I went out and met with them on Sunday, and so we had some conversation. And I'll be glad to answer any questions from you guys. I don't know if you allow the public to ask questions, but from anyone, basically.
Are there any questions from any of the commissioners?
Do we maybe want to do public comment first and then come back with questions
All right.
if we have any?
Okay.
Well, first of all, let me ask, is there anyone here that oppose this?
Okay. Thank you, Kurt.
Any questions for the developer from the public? Come forward, state your name.
Good evening. I am a resident of.
Can you state your name?
State your name.
Yeah.
Name Rose
state your-
Butler, Rose Butler. And I'm on Edgefield Ave. I'm on Butler Circle, which is a road that originally was a county road that has now been changed to a public road for other things that came in. But basically, we're concerned about the fact that we're currently dealing with traffic from a development that's out there currently that's just recently been built. And we're landlocked almost when we're trying to get in and out of our homes. We also find that we're dealing with traffic, cars parked, places where we can't get through. Also, too, on Edgefield Avenue, we have our churches there. That's an interest to the church. We want to ask the question, are you taking consideration of a light being there? On Williams Lane, we currently have a lot of traffic problems because of the development that's currently there. We'd like to know if that's been considered as far as the traffic study. The main thing is we're just concerned about the fact that in the area, current homes that are there, most of those people live in, they're elderly, they live in single-person homes, or many of them have someone coming in to even take care of them. Traffic is coming in, so the main thing, we want to make sure that that is taken care of. So we're very concerned about that.
Okay, thank you.
That's my concern, and I think many of the others are concerned.
Ma'am, may I ask you a question?
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind answering.
So you use Williams Lane to get to Butler Circle, is that correct?
Well, we use whatever we can get, because on Williams Lane, supposedly there's a way for us to get out. And there are times we have to go to Union Church Lane to get out.
Oh, I got you. Oh, I
Because
see, yep.
there are times that the buses are coming in, you've got traffic, you've got their cars parked in the road, and there are times you can't, and when you're trying to go out on Williams Lane, if two people are coming out, one's coming in, one's going out, you can't see from the left, and it's a very steep curve. So therefore, there is a problem there. There's a curve on Edgefield Avenue,
Sure.
all right, and that little place has been set there for us to pull over to get there, but you really can't get out to the left. So many people now are having to go to the right to go around to come back down to Edgefield Avenue, to Edgefield Highway. And I notice here the entrance is going to be along Edgefield Highway, and secondary access is Williams Lane. So I'm assuming that's the same road that's already there.
Thank you.
And thank you for giving us a chance.
Come forward, sir.
My name is James Jedica. I live off of Highway 19, right in front of where this project is going to be taking place. Our concern, again, is the traffic, same as her. There's, on any given day, about 70 to 80 trucks an hour on Highway 19, while there's only about 20 on US 1. Edgefield Highway is 11 foot 7 inches wide between the lines. Oversized loads and wide loads are not supposed to be on that road unless it's a state of emergency by the governor. And the speed limit, 45, I've tailed cars doing 70. I call the police department, nothing gets done. They set a car out there, they just sit in the car. There was an 18-wheeler that overturned at the edge of Edgefield Highway, making the left going towards the school because of the speed. People have been killed on this highway because of the speed also. And on the easement in between my fence and the mailbox, I was walking out to pick up my mails. Somebody was turning left across to get into the development. They drove up on the easement between my mailbox and my driveway. and almost hit me when I was trying to get my mail. We need enforcement on this road. If you're gonna put this development in, people need to be taken care of that live there. Any questions?
A question from the commission. Thank you, sir.
What's the traffic plan that you guys are gonna come up with?
But they do a traffic study, and then once again, we just a recommending body. It'll go to city council, and you also come to city council and state your concern. Some of the concerns that you have will actually come through South Carolina DOT with the traffic light, the illegal trucks on the road. We're
Right.
just a recommending body.
I've dealt with DOT. They blew me off.
Yeah, just once the traffic study is done, it will be reviewed by SCDOT.
Right.
And if they believe that any major changes need to be made to this development, SCDOT will kind of enforce that.
Right. I even went to the state with this, and they blew me off.
We understand.
So, I mean, somebody's got to do something somewhere along the line.
We agree.
Anybody else?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I was going to remain silent, but Ms. Butler brought up some very important points.
What's your name? State your name, please.
I'm sorry. My name is Greta Robinson. I'm at 588 Union Church Lane. Okay. Some of the concerns that Ms. Butler stated, my parents are elderly, they're in their 80s. Traffic is a concern. A lot of my neighbors, I think most of us in here have been in that neighborhood for 20 plus years. And that's a long time. And we've seen a lot of changes and a lot of growth, and growth is fine. We all want to see growth and we want to see progress, but we want to see it done right. When they put the new subdivision up on the hill, there wasn't much information given, or nobody made us any promises, but you've got heavier traffic. You've got people parked on the streets. Most of the streets in that neighborhood are not even paved. They're dirt roads. You've got kids playing in the street now. That new subdivision has no lights whatsoever. One of my daughter's friends actually lives in that neighborhood, and so I took her home this weekend, and literally all I had was my headlights and the porch lights of the houses. So nobody's addressing safety in the area, and that's a concern. When you have elderly drivers and you have children and you have an increased neighborhood of people, those are concerns that we want addressed, and nobody seems to care. I think it's important for people to understand that it's not a fight against progress, it's a fight for a way of life that we're used to, a way of life that is safe. I can't tell you how many times, like he was talking about the traffic on Edgefield Highway, can't tell you how many times I literally have to keep going instead of being able to sit there and make my left turn waiting for traffic to clear because someone's flying down the highway. I literally have to let off my brake and keep going and then go to this quick shop and turn around and come back the other way so I can make a safe right turn as opposed to worrying about somebody slamming me in the rear. I just think that we need some assurances that the commission, that the city is going to look at the traffic, the lighting, the roads. Those are serious concerns, and we just want to know that someone is listening.
Ms. Greta, I will say that other development I believe that you're talking about up the hill is county. This is requesting to be in the city, and the city standards are much higher. They will have lights, sidewalks, proper entrances, median entrances. It's going to be a nice development in comparison. That's just the difference between the city requirements and the county requirements.
So when you're talking about 132 homes, are we talking about how many people that's going to bring into the neighborhood?
Well, again, that'll be the traffic study.
That hasn't happened or won't happen?
Oh, it'll happen. It has to happen.
Has to happen. Yeah.
I promise you.
Okay. And will we be informed of what's found? How will we know? How will the neighborhood know?
Well,
what's been
hopefully the developer will tell you, but I do recommend coming to city council.
Council meeting.
Yeah, sit through those readings and,
And if I may add, I would also add that you come to the city council meeting
Right.
and address your concerns, because this have to go to city council for 2 readings. So you need to be present there to address your concerns.
Because I do believe this whole side is pretty much our neighborhood.
That's
but
what we're
thank you.
telling.
If you don't mind, if you start seeing ground being broken over there, that means plans have been approved. You can come by the planning department. I'll show you the plans about what traffic improvements are going to be making. So they'll have to have DOT, and we have a city traffic consultant. They'll have to get both approvals before they break ground.
Mr. Chairman, if I may add, to answer a lot of the questions regarding traffic, this planning commission is a land use body, basically. We are looking at the land use and the homes and the roads inside. The city has a separate traffic engineering consultant that looks at it. I'm totally against this, but the traffic study comes after we review it. I would hope the traffic study in the future would come prior to us reviewing it. But it doesn't in terms of the current status of the city policies. So what we're really looking at, we can't answer your questions on traffic because a lot of the work is being done by another firm dealing with DOT and maybe the city engineers, but not this body, unfortunately.
So you have a trickle up effect instead of a trickle down effect.
Yeah.
Is approved, you don't know how many units are going to be in the development, et cetera. So
You do know how many units are going to be available, and you can average or estimate at least 2 members per household, at least, a minimum.
Well, but
So
it
2
has-
members per household
but it hasn't been
for 132 homes. Can you not?
it hasn't been
Just as a base.
but I'm just saying until it's been approved for the purposes of the traffic study, if we don't approve it, then they don't know what they're studying. Until there's a plan, they don't know how many units are going to be in there. So that I think that's why this happens first, is to.
But the plan presented does present the number of units, because I know you guys are discussing variants, and they have to be at least 20 feet apart. Am I correct? Am I hearing correctly?
Yeah, you're correct is what you're saying, but what he was trying to explain to you is the guidelines that we go by. Sometimes we don't have all the information, and Mr. Pete just told you that another firm would do the traffic study. And Richard also informed you to stay on top of everything, exercise your rights as citizens.
Yes, sir.
And if you see any groundbreaking, come and talk to the planning department. I still would urge that you come to the city council and address your concerns, because some of the things that you ought to address is outside our purview as far as when it comes to the lights, the highway and stuff. That's DOT. We have no authorization over DOT.
And if we do not accept their request for the waiver for the 15 versus 20, that may impact the number of units that they can put in the development itself. So all those factors go in. I mean, they may have to come back with a totally new concept plan if we deny their request to give them that waiver. So it would be imprudent to do a traffic study on a plan that's not approved, because they would have to go back and do another traffic study, which costs the taxpayers money.
One thing we can assure you is a traffic study will be done. It'll be submitted to the SCDOT. They will review it. Our own traffic consultant will also review it. After that, if they think any major changes need to be made, those changes will be made. We can promise you that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My name is Andy Jorgensen. I live at 1208 Edgefield Highway. My question revolves largely around what Mr. Erb had asked this nice lady, and that is the distinction between city annexation and county land. Currently, I'm in the county, very close to the separating line. By having a new development go in, sharing my back property line that gets annexed, what does this mean for the residents such as myself who are in the county and who would like to stay in the county? Does this present an issue where myself and my neighbors could be forced to annex into city at all?
You will not be forced to annex unless you submit a request to be annexed into it.
Or city services, correct?
Yeah.
City services.
Can you say that again?
If you request city water and sanitary sewer,
Gotcha.
if you want to get connected to that, you can ask for it, but then if your property is adjacent to another city jurisdiction property, you would be required to go into the city.
Gotcha.
Only if you want the utilities. If you don't want, if you're in well and septic now, that's fine.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Timothy Red. I own the 8 acres that's adjacent to the property. This on Union Baptist Church Road and Edgefield Highway. That's shown at the bottom of the retention pond.
Real quick, staff, can we have can we have the maps up that we normally get here?
Yes,
Where
the
are you?
8 acres at the bottom.
Bottom.
Now, and maybe some of my questions need to be addressed at a later date. But as far as I am, I'm truly for the project. I'd like to see the development of it because as of right now, I have the 8 acres there requested with the city a little while back about getting sewer and water, and some people that I talked to since I own a business in Aiken already, Bradley Plumbing and Heating, that they said it was too much trouble to get water and sewer. I'm glad to see development coming because I'd like to find out if I can get water and sewer and get annexed. But if not, that's fine. But the 8 acres that I have in question with, and you answered the question as far as I understand, as long as you don't have to be annexed to you, since if a project does go through, I don't have to annex unless I sell the property or request water and sewer, because that's the way that you fill gaps with the annexation. Is that correct? Okay. Now, I don't know, and it's not shown on this development, but there is a big main city water line that runs right through the middle of that property. I'm very concerned about, it's that blue line that's right down at the bottom.
They're actually required to move it.
Yes.
They're
I'm
gonna
required to
move
move
it.
No, not you.
Huh?
Developer.
I was fixing to say.
They, not Tim, but they,
Well, that's fine.
and they're gonna update the line.
They
with a-
are going, okay. So my question is, are they just gonna move it for their property? Or are they gonna go back to the corner of 19 and move it like it should be?
No, I don't know the answer to
So
that.
that will be coming up later, I'm assuming. Now, I had another question, and I have talked to the developer a little bit, and we're gonna have some more conversation. I'm concerned about a buffer. If I do decide for that property, what kind of buffer are we gonna get by that retainage pond? That is another question, and I'm assuming that's at a later date.
They're required to have a buffer. So.
Okay. So it would be nice, and I'm assuming city requires like a planted buffer or whatever that nature?
It's a standard 20-foot buffer for this
Okay,
development.
that's fine. Now, how about the storm water that comes off my property, that drains into the drain, that's at the back of that retention pond that goes across the street? We have any idea how anybody's addressing that, or that would be at a later date also?
Well, the developer here, he'll gonna answer your questions.
Okay, so we'll find out. And that's just, my concerns, but I'd like to see it, because I'd like to develop that 8 acres myself. And if you move that water line, that corner gets to be a very nice piece of property. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
Kurt, you wanna come up and address this question?
I was curious if we could just let them
No,
get
I-
the questions out, I'm writing them down.
Okay.
I'll address them,
Okay,
and then y'all can ask me further questions. Okay.
that's fine. You had a question? Come forward.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Ahmad McHale, 100 Majestic Oak Way. I stay across the street from said property and just found out about it today. Trying to stay on top of things. But I think one of the major things is the only way that we're going to alleviate the housing shortage in Aiken is to develop. But it has to be responsible developing. And also, I would recommend that anyone in the audience with any questions to look up the Northside Comprehensive Plan, and that's where the city is headed toward. So, with all things considered, even from a developer standpoint, citizen standpoint, I support this project, and I think it'll be a great addition. But I would also say, for the record, we have to address the traffic, whether it's SCDOT, City of Aiken, and all interested parties. There has to be something that has to be done. Good project, though. That's all I got to say about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Come.
Hi, my name is Cindy Musso, and I live in the new development of Rivers Crossing, 5928 Cobalt Falls Bend. And I understand that the parcel that's being discussed is going to be part of, it will be annexed to the city, correct? Mm-hmm. And our subdivision is not. Are there any future plans for Rivers Crossing to be annexed by the city?
Once the lots are sold, it would take each individual, or I think it's 80, I forget exactly, a high percentage of property owners would have to sign a petition to be annexed. So once you start selling the lots individually, you have to get a petition from each owner, or a certain high percentage. We can't just go out and annex it, sorry.
It's got to be a request for annexation. We
Yeah.
don't, the city doesn't just go out and annex.
We have to have a petition.
What are the benefits of being annexed by the city versus not? I know that when you're not in the city, you don't pay city taxes, but there's got to be some
Do you
benefits.
have city water?
City services.
Well, we have those now, but we pay a premium for those.
You would get reduced rates on all city services.
I'm sorry, what?
You would get a reduced rate on all of your city services.
And then
Would
you
it
also
bring-
get solid waste from the city, leaf and limb pickup. So there's various other services too.
Can you repeat that? Your
You get solid waste, leaf and limb. Of course,
The garbage trucks would come, the city garbage trucks would come by. We'd pick up your leaves or any yard debris that you put out for us to pick up, and again, reduce services on the cost would be reduced as well for any services that you have, including any, yeah.
it turns out a lot of residents actually want to be annexed. We have a whole neighborhood that came to council a few months ago asking to be annexed. And if anybody's listening, because I haven't been able to talk to them yet, we do need a petition signed by a large majority of that neighborhood. And I can get the percentage correct. I don't want to say it without being correct, but anybody that's in the sanctuary place neighborhood, please contact me so I can tell you how to get annexed.
Okay. All right, and with being in the city, on this property, will they have streetlights? Because there's no streetlights in my subdivision at all. I just wonder if being part of the city, I just moved here from Colorado. I know it seems to be traffic light-wise in the city of Aiken. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of traffic lights.
I don't know if Kurt, is that something you can answer, or is that a Thomas question?
Okay.
Or traffic light.
Streetlights, it's obvious that with the development coming in and that many homes, that there'll be a traffic light added. I mean, that has to happen, that.
Well, it's always up to
DOT. Yeah.
DOT, and,
Right.
they'll have to do traffic studies on that. It has to warrant it,
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, come forward.
My name is Deanna Calicote. We have a property at 1222 Edgefield Highway. I'd like to thank you all, first of all, for being here tonight and listening to all of our concerns, and Mr. Hannah as well for listening to us. I have some concerns about our property butts up to the purple area here. And we have a concern about noise pollution and the noise pollution and the light pollution. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I don't usually get up in front of people, so excuse me.
You're doing fine.
I know that you have a 20-foot buffer. We would like to see a larger buffer for that area where there's properties that butt up against all the housing. We have a lot of space in our properties, and we really love the fact that we have space, and we don't want all the noise pollution and everything that goes along with these housing areas, or we'd be in a housing area ourselves. So we'd like to see that if we could, to increase that buffer, at least in that area, to a 50-foot buffer.
To a what? I'm sorry?
50-foot buffer,
50.
sir? Just to help with that. Also, Mr. Hanna spoke about having a nature trail, but did not clarify all the nature trails, and I'm wondering if that buffer in that back area is going to be a nature trail. And the reason I'm wondering about this is because there's issues with crime, there's issues with homeless and different people like that, and that buffer is going to be very hidden there in that particular area where it butts up against our area. And with it being hidden, there'll have to be upkeep, and someone will have to keep an eye out, because that'll be an opportunity for people to be homeless in that area. And so I wanted to address that with Mr. Hanna, if possible, about where the nature trail will be and if it will be in that area. In addition to those things, the lot size that is for the purple area is a lot smaller, and it is not, basically, as you guys said in the earlier meeting, that the PR zone said that they should be similar in these neighborhoods. And we'd like to see all of the purple area to increase in size and to be more like the PR zone, similar to the other houses in the area, in that particular housing area. And I don't know if the pond is going to be part of the 20% of open space. I'd like to personally see that there's more open space so it's less crowded. It would help with the traffic. There is traffic issues, obviously, and the way everything is in there is going to be very crowded when it comes to cars trying to park. And I realize there's going to be an HOA, but no one knows what's going to happen with an HOA and what restrictions they'll have in place. So it would be nice to have a little bit more of the open area, and maybe not include the pond in the 20%, so that it could create some green space. And personally, I don't know about the rest of everyone, but I'm a no for the reduction from the 20-foot buffer for the houses as well, for fire safety, and also, again, for green space, and just for the place looking, really nice. They're doing a really nice subdivision, and I think it can be a benefit to the area, but it would be great to be able to have a nice, pleasant place where there is green space and that kind of thing, and not so crowded in there. And again, it would help with the traffic, because we do agree that the traffic is bad. We've had our own issues being on Highway 19, and I realize you guys, that's outside of your area. Along with the traffic, there's also a lot of trash and that kind of thing, and I'm not sure if that's ever going to be addressed or not. The only other question, I should make sure to read my notes, but the only other thing I have on my notes is there is an electric line that's running down our property, actually, and on our property, and I'm wondering if you guys, Mr. Hanna, plan to bury that electric line, and if you do plan to bury that electric line, what happens to the electric line that is going through our property at that point? Will it also be buried? So that's about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all
Ma'am,
listening.
Do you mind pointing out where your property is located?
I don't mind at all.
Okay, thank you. How large is your lot?
It's currently 1.71. It's actually supposed to be 2, so we're looking into that. But
The reason, you mentioned a few things like a 50-foot buffer versus a 20-foot buffer, and then with a 50-foot buffer, the concern about then that space being occupied by folks that you might not necessarily want there. So obviously, it's easier to monitor a 20-foot buffer than a 50-foot buffer. We've also required developers put up privacy fences against existing adjoining homes. That may be a better solution
Yes, sir.
than a wider buffer.
And so when you say privacy fence, then what would you consider for a height of a privacy fence?
Well, I think at least 6
6 feet.
I just wrote that down too, as we were talking about a bigger buffer. It may be better for the applicant to provide a 6-foot solid buffer along that entire side to protect your
Yes,
property.
sir. Yes, sir. And that would still allow a lot of noise, pollution to come across. Mind you, I understand we're not going to get everything we want, and I'm not trying to do that. I just want to, I just want to make it, I know about noise in neighborhoods. I've lived in a few, so I'm a little
But it
bit
was
old.
a 6, I mean, noise travels on a line of sight coming out of your mouth or coming out of a car.
Fence
So
may be a better buffer.
6-foot-high fence would stop that.
Well, and the other question is about trees and if
Time, we want to make sure.
trees there.
Any other questions, because we passed our
Oh,
time.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, thank you so much.
thank you.
I wonder if we
Keep an eye on that, I didn't see that.
Yes. Are there any other comments from the public?
bless you.
I'll be honest, I can answer at least at a pretty good level most all these questions. I don't know if I can do it in 5 minutes, but I'll do my best. So, a few things. First of all, I don't know if y'all have seen the new housing study, but it's extensive, and they're telling us we need 4,000 to 5,000 houses over the next 5 years just in Aiken County alone to keep up with the current anticipated growth. And so we do want to do our part to be responsible, obviously, and develop responsibly and create homes. I will not get into all the specifics on the numbers and how hard it is to margins on creating a development that brings over 100 homes, but we do have to have high-density development. We do have to have development that is aggressive and home building that's aggressive. And so, again, I could speak to that for hours and hours, but we have a need. The North Side comprehensive plan that Mr. Ahmad Mikhail spoke to, I've read it multiple times. In my opinion, it fits it perfectly. That is right on the edge of the southern portion of what was studied. I read it again today. And so I think it's beneficial for the city. I think it's beneficial for our community, and it meets that. As far as traffic goes, I mean, that has come up over and over and over again, and I understand. I want to say to the neighbors, I get it. Like, yes, I've driven on that road. I drive that road every time I go see my parents. My hope is that the DOT will actually bring the speed limit down. And so, and I know, it does fall on deaf ears sometimes when you go to state agencies, or at least it feels like it does. But the great thing for us is they have to talk to us because they have to tell us what to do. So we will get to say, hey, can we suggest maybe slowing that traffic down? The downside is they're going to do what the numbers tell them to do. And so when we do that traffic study, they're going to set the speed limit where they feel it needs to be set. We can suggest, but again, they're a state agency. They do their jobs. They're traffic engineers by trade. And we will do a traffic study. Y'all were 100% right. We have preliminary traffic estimates from engineers right now. We've already had conversations with the DOT traffic engineer. We've had conversations with the city traffic engineer, multiple conversations. And it is a concern of city staff. It is a concern of the citizens, and it's our concern. We don't want to build a neighborhood. First thing that happens, somebody has a wreck. That's not, an option. So we have spoken with city staff about maybe some things, even if we don't put in a red light, some things we could do. So it is like top priority for us. We will have our traffic study done. Again, we have preliminary numbers in the packet now, which is, pretty substantial. One of the things, and this is kind of, I don't know exactly how it all works out, but I do feel like, safety has been mentioned as a concern for the neighborhood multiple times to me. If this is annexed in, there will be a heightened police presence because it will now be patrolled by city police. Right now, they don't have any city presence right there. And so I think you're gonna see more traffic enforcement. I don't know if y'all noticed today, the city police were out everywhere giving speeding tickets today. And so right now, it's not in their area, but it will be. And I think that probably has a lot to do with the enforcement issue there. You know, state troopers have a lot of ground to cover. Our city police are able to cover, you know, city areas a lot better. There is trash actually on the site. There are signs of possible homelessness being there now. We're gonna go clean that up. We're going to make sure that this is a quality neighborhood. And we're gonna make sure that you know, that stops. That's not happening anymore. And, as far as the buffer, the perimeter buffer, I'm marking a few things, wanna make sure I'm covering things. Perimeter buffer is set at 20 feet. There's some pretty thick trees. We don't know exactly where those trees end yet as far as the property line goes, but we believe that those trees are gonna remain. And so, you know, trees do block a lot of sound. They do block a lot of light pollution. If the preference is fences, we're certainly willing to have that conversation. You know, I love trees, and we don't save them as much as we can. Our preference is not to cut large trees if they're there, and we're supposed to leave them anyway for the buffer. But it's highly likely every home's gonna have a fence on it anyway. You know, it may not be on the property line, which I doubt the neighbors want it on their property line. It's probably gonna be up to the buffer, then the remaining buffer will stay, and then their property line. So I think that's probably gonna be the best solution for them, and honestly, our home buyers as well. That buffer goes, you can see it actually, it goes along the purple, and it actually stretches up to that yellow one as well. And it comes all the way down. And then our neighbor here to the south, he's also gonna have a buffer. The problem is, there's nothing there right now. So when we leave a buffer, it will be field, right? So certainly willing to talk to him about that. And as a matter of fact, we are moving that water line. So let me show you, I'm gonna show you the water line, okay? The water line currently right now runs from there down through here. It's old, it needs to be replaced, okay? We're gonna replace it at our cost, so that's not city replacing it at their cost. We're gonna put a brand new water line right up there, and it comes right down through here. Now, the downside is it does tie into your property, right there. We can't move it on your property without your permission. If you wanna talk about that, maybe we can work something out where we can reroute it. The good thing is the water lines are pressurized. We have some leeway there.
He's got a drill.
Let's get back here to the point, because I don't know if we're getting it recorded.
Great, okay, so, there we go. Yeah, so the water line ties into your place right there. Again, we, you know, we can route it some different places, only without your permission, I mean, with your permission. So we can have those conversations, and I already have been in touch with him, willing to continue to have those conversations. As far as the pond right here, again, we can have conversations about that as well. Be glad to work with him, see what we could work out. There's no need for, you know, any more retention ponds in our community than we have to have. So, and I think that one's big enough where we can talk to him. And we've actually already had our engineers looking at it because his land kind of comes down anyway. We grab water off of his property. So, does that help explain a few things?
That's the easiest thing you do. You can buy 8 acres, we'll talk about it.
We can talk about that.
That's where he's going.
So, perimeter buffer, streetlights, I could speculate there because I don't know. I think they're required in the city. We haven't actually talked about it, but I can't remember. And even if they're not, we're certainly willing to have those conversations. You know, I understand that dimmer light actually creates safer neighborhoods for some reason. When you put bright lights in, it for whatever reason, those neighborhoods tend to have higher crime. I don't know why that is. But so we can have even bulbs that are not very bright, but bright enough to create safety, to create some light. Obviously, we can have those conversations as well.
I think, I mean,
Yes, sir.
if I could interject, I mean, we need to make decisions, not conversations.
Yeah.
So I think if, I think we'd like to see streetlights, I think it's fairly normal to have streetlights at every intersection. You may not need them right down the street at 300-foot intervals, but maybe at every intersection would be a nice compromise. I think that it should be a standard streetlight. It can be an LED bulb, which is not as bright, but I'd like to have a decision or a condition, not just conversations.
Well, I believe if we follow the city's current provisions, I believe there's some provisions in there, but I don't know if anybody knows right off the top of their head. And I just don't. Okay.
They're in there? Okay.
They're required.
It's required.
Good, okay.
Yeah, so they're required.
That
And
ends
I
that.
thought they were, I couldn't remember exactly. Stormwater, the nature trails, I'm gonna point out nature trails, okay? I think it was her. So, you're here, there will be no nature trails. This is an undisturbed buffer. We're not allowed to do really anything with it. So there will be none along this line. There will be actually a buffer here. Again, that little, it kind of edges over, but basically the nature trails are gonna go at the bottom of the pond, around the pond. You can't see it, but we're probably gonna put some nature trails right here as well, because that's an easement for the water line. I'll hope so. I'll press for it. And then probably nature trails right here as well on this gas line. So we really want to make as much of the space active as possible. And let's see. Talked about crime a little bit, nature trails, homelessness. 20 foot. The 20 foot, I get it. Probably not getting that from you guys, and I know you've got to recommend that stay. I get that. And you know, and I'm going to be honest. We're still running, we're still running numbers. We're pinching numbers. Believe it or not, the first iteration of this had 160 lots, and I went to them and I said, guys, this was a different developer, a different engineer, and I went to them. I said, guys, if you could be more reasonable, I feel like we could do something here, but we can't do these 160 lots in here. It's never going to get approved, and so we've come down from 160 to 138, I think, to 132, and now 131. So we have actually brought the density down. You don't really see that because all that happens with staff. All that happens when we're negotiating deals and trying to find a good developer for a community. And as far as the smaller lots go, I mean, I would argue that those lots are similar to what's across the road. I think, you know, this will not be the end of that conversation. That conversation is going to happen 2 more times at city council. But this is serious, okay? I think we have to be careful in our community that we don't create this elitist mentality where we think anybody can afford anything. They can't. And for us to sit here and say everybody needs a 60-foot lot and a brand new home, what you're telling them is you got to go out to the county. Don't come to the city if you're working class and you're trying to live on a normal paycheck. You know, and I'm gonna be honest, guys, buying a first-time home right now, it scares the daylights out of me. And I want to see affordable homes. And the housing study, one of the guys' main points was if we don't build homes, you will see the ability of workforce people to afford homes in the city of Aiken disappear. They will move out to the country. They'll move out where they can't afford homes, and it will put a massive burden on our infrastructure because they will drive everywhere, and our streets will be more and more crowded. One of his main points was you have to put affordable homes as close to people's workplaces as possible. The majority of the workplaces are in the city. We need first-time homes in our city, and that's what those smaller lots aim to do, okay? That's honestly what the 15-foot instead of 20 aims to do, but again, I don't think that's a conversation for tonight. And may lose that argument, but that's just where I stand, and I'm not trying to be selfish. I'm truly trying to do what I truly feel is best for the community, just like you guys are, just like they are, and we can disagree, you know? And then crowd density, trash, and the electric lines. Yeah, I think we have to bury electric lines, right? Yes. Yes, so we'll have to relocate the power lines and we have to bury them. As far as the ones on the perimeter next to your house, I can't say, I don't know. But I assure you, if they're on our property, they're gonna be buried and relocated. This is a requirement by the city. Again, the city has higher requirements for really great neighborhoods, and that's one of the many things the city does. So I'm going to shut up now, unless you guys
Kurt,
have questions.
could we, talk about a 6-foot fence? Would you be against from the gas line north to put a 6-foot?
You talk about right.
No?
No,
All the way over
West
there,
side.
right there?
Up, straight up.
From that,
Right.
Well, again, I think they're gonna go there, I think they're gonna be put there with the homes. So I think it's gonna be there. One issue we have is we haven't selected a home builder, because some of the home builders that wanna build there, our developer, I'm telling y'all right now, this is this developer's first development in Aiken. Absolute, he's the prime developer, and so I'm partnering with him. Absolute consummate professional. They put in only great neighborhoods, and so he's very, very picky about what home builders he uses. And so he's gonna build this and pick the right home builders. I asked him about fencing because I knew it would come up. I can't promise you right now that, yeah,
No,
we can do
we're not
6 foot.
asking for the whole thing,
Yeah.
just that one.
Section.
Well, I think, again, I think it will happen. But for us to promise that right now, I can't promise
right.
that.
That's not.
Well, you can if we make it.
Exactly.
Condition.
Right. If you make it a condition, then obviously I gotta go talk to the prime developer and we gotta
Rather
talk
that
about it.
than not speculate.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't speculate.
Right.
And I think as far as location, because I think you were offering behind the lot itself and not on the,
Buffer side, right.
right, not on the actual property line. The board-
Correct.
We have issues with homeowner maintenance versus the development being required to maintain it. I think it's just simpler. to put in.
Yeah, I mean, you have to still keep it on the HOA to, yeah.
That way HOA can
Well,
maintain
we
it.
could, I mean, being the developers, working with the city, I mean, it's a foot, right? So we can say, well, that even, hey, that's an easement for the HOA. That back is maintained by the HOA, so
Yeah,
I don't think that'll
We've done it in
be
the
issued.
past, and it
Huh?
has all, we've done it in the
Yeah.
past, and it's worked.
Yeah. So as long as we
Fences
understand.
make good neighbors.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't see it being an issue, but again, I can't promise. Certainly, I will take it to a prime developer. A 6-foot fence, they're probably going there anyway.
But it wouldn't be a grand undue burden or a deal breaker for y'all if we did just require a 6-foot fence on that part there? I know you can't promise it, but
My
if we
gut
forced you
feeling
to, that
says
wouldn't.
no.
Okay, thank you.
My gut feeling says no.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
One item that it didn't come up previously, it's a relatively small one, but on your exits, either both of them onto Edgefield and to Williams, I always like to see a 2-lane exit, a right turn and a left-hand turn. So if one guy's in front of you, wants to make a left-hand turn, you're behind him.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit there for 5 minutes. So if you had 2 lanes, that makes it a little easier. For the right turn guy, he can just go on his merry way.
There's a chance the DOT is going to require that. We are having conversations with them actually about that specific issue, especially on that main entrance.
Right.
So I could see that coming. The problem is if you guys tell us we have to do it and then the
Well,
DOT says we
No,
can't.
no. We can only request it pursuant to
DOT approval.
DOT approval. We couldn't.
That's fair, you know, I mean.
And I think Williams doesn't go much further, right? It's,
There's a little bit of a neighborhood back there. That's just where these neighbors come from. So, yeah.
Williams should be less of a problem, but going out to Edgefield, you're gonna have someone making a right, someone making a left, and that's.
I mean, there's not a ton of traffic on Williams.
yeah, going right, I mean,
Right,
from your
exactly.
neighborhood.
That's what you're getting at. Yeah. There's nothing like what's on 19. Yeah,
Any other questions from the commissioners?
Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you all so much.
Any other comments from the public? All right, we're back to the commissioners then.
Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to make a motion regarding application 26-2007 annexation and application 26-22-002 concept plan approval. The applicant's Crown Land Development Company, tax parcel 120-05-01002. Current zoning county UD, proposed PR. I'd like to make a motion that we send this application to City Council for approval with the various conditions. The conditions, as stated on the planner's report, I would like to add that number 1 says that the subdivision comply with the minimum building separation standards. I'd like to say that. I'd like to add strenuously requested that the applicant comply with the minimum building separation. I think 10 feet between to your property line, 20 feet between buildings is the appropriate way to go from a fire marshal perspective and from a planning perspective. 2.5 feet difference is not going to change the size of the house. If you're trying to build an affordable house, that 2.5 feet in lot width is not going to change anything. All the other conditions that were stated in 1 through 6 that are stated in the planner's report, I'd like to add that another conditions, is it 7? Be that there will be a 6-foot solid fence along the western boundary from the gas line north to Williams. That that there would be a right turn and left turn out to Edgefield pursuant to SDDOT concurrence. That the open space, it looks like the detention basin is proposed to be a wet detention basin, and that's acceptable as open space. If it's a wet basin, you can play in or whatever. I'd like to make a condition that if that basin is not wet, if it dries up, that the open space, the 20% open space be reconfigured throughout the property to maintain that 20%, which should be standard anyway. The narrative of the report says there'll be asphalt curbing throughout, and I think it was stated that that would be concrete, so I think I'd like to make that a firm condition that there be concrete curbing throughout.
So we're making that number 9.
Right. Okay.
That's just really a correction.
That's a
really-
correct, that's a
Yeah,
typo,
they
not really
What's
a
that?
condition.
Right.
Yeah, our ordinances state that it can't be
Okay, as
asked.
long as it's required, that's fine, that is not, doesn't need to be a condition. I think that's all I had. Anybody else?
I just want to make sure I understand in terms of the specific ordinance waiver request, you're recommending that that be denied and that a standard 20-foot.
Yes, the waiver be denied, but the condition as written in the planner's report says that the subdivision shall comply
That's
with the
right,
mill.
right.
So,
And, I mean, there's this specific request that
Right.
would be denied.
that's correct.
Under
So
your-
I'm requesting that.
We're not actually changing anything.
We're not
because
changing.
it was already denied in the point number 1. So.
Right.
And in terms, I do have a comment because I'm sympathetic to some of
Do we
the.
want to get a second before we enter? I'll second the motion.
All right, sorry.
You second?
Yeah.
Now we have discussion.
Okay. I understand and I'm sympathetic towards some of the arguments about increased density. I do not think this specific site is appropriate for that. I think if you do, you're just going to get more of what you see across the street. I do think in more urban areas and areas where you need infill, where there's walkability to downtown, there's a place for that, but I don't think, really, I think the request is to maximize the number of lots that they can put on this development. I think by requiring we stick to the standard, that will help even shrink the number of units in this overall development in some respects, which is, albeit maybe not in the developer's best interest, it's certainly, I think, in the community's.
Right.
So how we want to state the condition?
I'm in agreement with how they're
Yeah,
stated.
yeah.
Okay, you in agreement?
Yep, yep. Keeping number
Yeah,
one.
it was just, it was.
Keeping
We're gonna
number
keep
one
number
as
one.
written, yeah.
Keeping one as written.
Right.
But I didn't catch number 7, you're gonna add the 6-foot solid fence for the
Right.
gas line north of the Williams Street.
Right.
Correct?
Right, the curbing, concrete curbing is already in.
That's already in, yes.
The right turn slot, pursuant to DOT approval.
That's number 8,
Correct.
the right turn?
Yes, that would be number 8. And number 2 is basically, or I guess number 9 would be the open space shall be reconfigured and reallocated if for some reason that detention basin is not wet. I hate to see a wet basin, then he doesn't do anything else.
Rich?
Hey, Pete, that was from the gas line easement north. Are we including the yellow lot on Williams, or is it stopping with the purple lot, the last purple lot?
I would include all the way to this.
I would go all the way.
All the way to Williams?
Well, from a land use, you probably can't go to more than front of the house. You can't have a fence.
Right, the 6, yeah.
Go all the way to the street,
It wouldn't be
right?
in the front yard, yeah.
Yeah, it would end at the front yard of that house.
Okay.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Any other concerns? All right, we'll call for the vote. Want to restate? We ready? Call for the vote? All in favor? All right. It's been unanimously approved. We'll send it to city council
That was for the annexation and.
for the annexation.
And the
Right.
site plan,
Exactly.
concept plan.
All right, the next item we have on the agenda is application number 26-20008. It's an annexation request from Marianne Fry, Urban Development. That's the current zoning, proposed zoning, general business. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this annexation?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, just as a note to the audience, this first one is just the annexation itself. Just the annexation. Any questions or any comments regarding the development will be the next item, item I. Item H is just solely the annexation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm Joel Presley. I'm here representing the McLean family. And I'm here to speak about this application as well as the following one about the PR concept plan. So I just wanted to make myself available for any questions. I did want to ask, the McLean family has a statement that they wanted to enter into the record. Could I provide this?
Give it to her.
It's just a statement about the property, the legacy of the property, their vision for what they like to see on the property. It's been in their family for 62 years, and believe it or not, I've been working with them for almost 20 years as we've navigated the Parkway project and other city initiatives leading up to the point where they felt the time was right to develop the property in collaboration with the city. I have deep roots in the area. I was born here in Aiken County. Their family goes back to the early 1800s here in this area. So we love this area, we care about it, and just wanted to let that be known. Also, our planner, who has been working with us for the past 2 years, lived in Aiken, and in fact, his wife was the planning director in Aiken some years ago. So with that being said, this first application is very straightforward, and then the subsequent application is a little more complex, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this application? Anyone here to speak against this application? Are there any questions from the?
Good evening. My name is Greg Hightower. I live at 964 Athol Avenue. Mr. Joe Ranky and his wife here, they live at 966, and I represent Robert Brewer, who lives on the corner of Powder House and Athol Avenue, adjacent, and Jason Griner, who lives up at 962. We originally started looking at these plans when the Connector Road study had started. We sat in, at least myself, for 4 meetings. We requested that when the Connector Road was going to be established and groundbreaking be made, that Athol Avenue would be separated at the city-county line, which currently, city-county line sits right up there where the cell tower is, approximately about 80 feet back up the road towards City Whiskey Road. All right. Test slate was that we were going to have the road paved up, at least the residential area of top of the hill from 962 down to Powder House Road. Our road was supposed to be dead-ended at that point. All right. Fast forward up in here, one aspect in there is that we received no notification of this project that came in because no signs were placed or no notice was sent to the residents. Even though these land parcels say no residents of those areas, and I agree, we who live on Athol Avenue received no notification. I wouldn't have known about this meeting had I not been driving back from backside of Cracker Barrel to my house. And I saw one sign. I saw one other sign back around up Powder House where the new subdivision right across road. And that was it for notifications. All right. So my complaint about that is we need to do better on notifications. Okay. The other problem being is that we received no notification when Dominion Energy bought the property directly across from our homes. I know because I have a light on their property that shoots right in my place. All right. And I'm in discussion with Dominion Energy. So coming fast forward up there is accepted for annexation. I think that their land use, what they want to do is fantastic. What I do not want to see, and I'll bring this up for a condition of acceptance, is a connection behind Athol Avenue at Cracker Barrel, connecting all the way down here to Powder House. What does that do to us? That creates a cut around from the Connector Road going up towards the north side, okay, on Powder House, where they're talking about putting a roundabout up there, okay? We've asked for this. We were given verbal when the joint city and county council meetings for the Connector Road was discussed. We didn't get any word back on that as being affirmed, all right? We have lived out there, Mr. Ranky's lived out there almost 50 years. I've been on the road for 30 years, right? I like to keep my trees, I like to keep my light and all this. I like the vision, what they want for the 63 points of acres. Keep it manageable, keep it down. I'm fine with that. Things I'm not fine with is noise pollution and my road being a cut around. So a condition for this to go forward, and then looking at the property on amendment item I would like a section of our road separated. If we could go to the overlay map, the photo one up here.
We're not on I yet, sir.
Yeah.
Not on that, you're just.
No.
Yeah, we're just on the annexation.
All right, then I'll step back up here
Please do.
for India.
Please do.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else that'd like to speak against this application? All right, back to the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, for application 26-20008, annexation request for tax parcels 122-18-09-003 and parcel number 122-19-01-001. I move that we send this to City Council for approval.
Second.
A motion by Sam Erb and second by Commissioner Clayton. Are we ready for the question?
Yes.
All in favor? Let it be known by raising your right hand. It's been unanimous. Thank you. All right, our last agenda item is application number 26-22003, concept plan for tax parcel number 122-19-01-001. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this application?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything to say, but I am available for questions if I can be.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this application? Come forward. Well, that's fine too, sir.
Yeah.
So again, as I said, I'm Greg Hightower. I live at 964 Athol Avenue. Fully proposed, I agree. I think this would be a wonderful thing and maintained. What I do not want to see on here is Athol Avenue be connected from the upper end, from behind Cracker Barrel to Powder House.
And that's not visible. I mean, you're not requesting that, right?
I want clarification because you got to understand, we've gone through the connector road study. We were given verbal, yeah, we're going to cut Athol Avenue off from being a cut through when they established the connector road.
I just don't see any road on that concept plan that's connecting it. I mean,
We're dealing with this concept plan, so.
Athol Avenue runs right down here.
right?
Comes all the way up here, goes right up here to Powder House. We live right there. That road goes from Whiskey Road to my house, right in front of us.
Right, but nothing in this concept plan has that
No,
connect.
but if you build this concept and you put it in there, you are going to promote that to be a passageway.
That road is already in existence.
It's in existence. We're asking it for to be cut
Well, that,
because we're going to increase traffic in that area. And they're going to come up through that edge and say, oh, I know a little cut around, increase traffic on Athol Avenue.
Wait,
Proposed roads and Atoll Avenue.
can you define cut for us? Like, do you mean?
But it's any road that you would use to get from Whiskey Road to
another-
get to Powder
Right, but there's
House,
no, there's no,
not following the main
but
thoroughfare.
there's no proposed connection to Atoll.
So if you look at the concept plan that's in place now.
That's what I said, I didn't see any of it.
The buffer actually takes away the road.
Right.
Yeah, Joe, I don't know, I think Joel might be able to help. Joe, can you clarify what's gonna happen at Atoll Road?
And there's no connection to it.
There's no connection. Now, it meanders like
Here you go.
600
Yeah.
miles of dirt roads in Aiken County.
Joe, let's get you back, we gotta get it recorded,
Come on,
get you on television.
We'll share the mic.
go for it.
This is one of the many roads where exactly where it is and the width of the right-of-way is a little unclear, like many of the dirt roads in Aiken County. But we have a brand-new survey, and it shows it like the concept plan shows it here, meandering off and on the property. But we are not connecting to it and have no desire to connect to it or affect it in any way.
So, thank you, I appreciate that. So, go ahead, if you're gonna ask him a question.
we can't, we cannot do anything to that road.
So, I understand now that we don't have any connection, there's no entry and exit from this plan to Athol Avenue. Which I have to say, I like that. What process would be needed to get the concurrence to separate our road from state, or city to county?
That's not a question for us.
Yeah, that's not a question for us.
But with the applicant, I'm seeing the same thing. Why is a road on your property? If I was you, I'd like to get that off my property. So if I was you, I'd draw a line on the whatever northeastern side of that road and say, give it to the city or give it to somebody else.
That's been discussed with the planning staff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually,
You don't want that on your property.
I understand it to be a county road. Yeah, it's
It is
not
a
city,
county.
yeah.
It's partially. Right, it is city right before you get to the cell tower.
Yeah, your part's county, yeah,
We're county.
yeah.
And that's why we're trying to, didn't get follow-up on the last discussion is we got message late for this. It does state on Fall Road. didn't get to see it, this plan, India, take a look at it. I will follow up in other sessions.
And then I think to get to one of the detention ponds, proposed detention ponds, I think part of that's gonna have to stay open behind Cracker Barrel to get back in there
You have what the road used to be known as Frog Pond Road. Okay, so we'll tell you that. There is a retention pond right behind Cracker Barrel and the businesses on Whiskey Road. There is another retention pond that was built to support Lowe's and the businesses on that section that flow right down in there. There was time and effort to, we're gonna run a drain from Whiskey Road down through this area, which couldn't be done because it was one part of it, the drain ditch was going through my shop. So that was changed. I have not seen the retention ponds or the drainage plans that they plan on pulling up, but that's another discussion. So my question for this group here in talking with you, at some point in time, when you lay this out, you have the ability to request the road to be taken out of that section of the property.
I have the ability to deed the road right of way over to the city, and if they don't want it, to the county.
Okay, so we'll address this as we need to. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
Yes. Are there any other questions or concerns? Okay, we're back to the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, in regard to application 26-22003, concept plan tax parcel 122-19-01-001, current zoning RD, proposed zoning PR, I make a motion that we move to city council for approval with the conditions as listed.
Second.
Ready for the question? It's been Mr. Commissioner Clayton make the motion and Commissioner Erb second. Call for the question. All in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you. First, and before we adjourn, I'd like to thank each and every one of you all who came out tonight and addressed your concerns. And please know this, it's not that we don't listen to your concerns, it's just some things that we cannot address. But we will tell you this, that if you come to the city council and make your concerns there known as well, some things that we cannot address is what the county does, then we can make recommendations on it to DOT. So thank you. You all have a good night. So let's call for the motion for the adjourn.
Yep, so moved.
So moved. Thank you.